Okay. All right. Ready, set, go. Can you guys hear me okay? Let me know. Sorry, we had a little technical difficulty here. It's all good, man. We are talking about I would have gotten to 10% body fat had I known some things sooner than I did. Okay. And if you're watching live, just say I'm watching live because this is a live stream. And if you can hear me okay, let me know you can hear me okay, all that fun stuff. And we are going to get into it. All right. So, quick backstory. And then we're going to, as I tell this backstory, I'm going to give you some real good value. So, I never had abs. I mean, I had abs. They were just covered by fat for the majority of my childhood. And actually, I should say the majority, all of my childhood, I had no ab definition whatsoever. Okay. And that was frustrating. That was really frustrating. And I always thought for the majority of my life, up until I was about 22 years old, that I just was not capable of having abs. I was not capable. And man, it was really discouraging because I was like, my genetics are just not designed for me to have a ripped six pack. Okay. So anyway, after I finished playing sports, I got into fitness, started training, working out like a bodybuilder, and I became obsessed with this concept that maybe there was a chance that I had abs. Okay. Maybe there was a chance. Now, what took place after this is where the majority of my tough lessons really came into play. And had I known some of the things that I know now, man, I would have gotten to 10% body fat rapidly. Okay. The first thing that I had no clue about that you have to absolutely understand is calories. Okay. I know I'm beating a dead horse here, but you have to control your calories. If you're not under your total calorie output, meaning if you're not burning more calories than you eat, you will not lose fat. Okay. You just won't. So you have to understand how many calories you're eating. I had no clue about calories for many, many years. I followed meal plans. Okay. I knew if I hit this amount of food, like my coach is telling me to hit, I'm more than likely going to get the result. But I didn't know that I was in a calorie deficit. Back then, I thought if I eat every 2 hours and I stick to the amounts my coach tells me to eat, because I had a coach back then, that I'm going to speed up my metabolism and ultimately lose fat. I was wrong. Okay. I was wrong. What I didn't realize was that I was in a massive calorie deficit. I was eating, back then at least, about 1,600 calories a day, and I was burning about 3,200 calories a day. Okay, because I was 265 pounds, dieted all the way down to 185 pounds. Okay, so almost 80 pounds lost. I say 65 pounds, but I did lose about 80 pounds. Okay, absolutely insane, but I had no idea about calories. And what ended up happening was, because I was in such a massive calorie deficit, I struggled, man. There were times where I would binge eat for days and days at a time, and I would set myself back. It took me a long time to chip away at the fat. Even though I did lose a lot of weight, it took me a while. All right, it took me a long time. So the first thing I just wish I would have known sooner is the right amount of calories will not only get you to your fat loss goal, but it will keep you mentally sane as well. Okay, mentally sane, which is a huge part of the game. Okay, the second thing that I had no clue about was what I do in the gym in terms of training is not as impactful for fat loss, at least, in comparison to what I do outside the gym. See, so many of us think, man, I got to go to the gym every day. I got to train 6-7 days a week. I got to spend an hour, hour and a half in the gym. I got to do all these exercises. That's what's going to burn the fat off. And that's just not true. It's just not true. What's going to burn the fat off is the calorie control, but it's going to be your activity outside the gym. How much are you moving every single day? Do you live a lifestyle that is supported by higher activity levels? See, as I got older, I didn't have the time to do all the cardio and all the workouts and stuff because I had kids, business to run, all this stuff. So what really changed the game for me was understanding that, man, I can just simply move more strategically throughout my day. I can go for walks, go play with my kids, take my dogs for a walk, just move, stand at my desk, get a walking pad from my office. All these things contribute to a higher output in terms of activity. All right. And man, what an amazing blessing it is to be able to just simply track our daily activity in the form of steps and then strategically increase the intensity of that movement through things like wearing a weight vest when we walk, walking on an incline treadmill, and, tracking our layers of walking intensity, walking amount, all that kind of stuff. But it makes it easy, man. Like back then, I would go to the gym at 4:30 in the morning. I would do 45 minutes to an hour on the step mill, and then I would work all day, go back, lift weights, and do another 45 minutes to an hour on the step mill after my lifting session. So I was spending a solid 3 hours in the gym, pretty much Monday through Sunday. No wonder I got burned out, right? No wonder I got burned out, which leads me to a quick point. I put together a summer shred checklist for you. It's absolutely free. Just comment summer shred on this video. I will link you to our resources community where there's not just the summer shred that is there, but there's a host of other resources for you to help you take further steps down the road of this transformation path that a lot of you are on. All right. So make sure you get that because it will absolutely torch fat, get you ready for the warm months ahead in very simple and easy to follow fashion. Okay. So we talked about the calories. We talked about the movement. What about workouts, man? Like, man, my workouts used to be laborious. I'm talking marathon sessions, man. 4 to 5 sets, 6 to 7 exercises, man. Like, just massive amounts of volume. I will say, just to be fair, some of that contributed to the physique I have now, okay? I definitely put my body through a lot of work, which contributed to a lot of muscle building back then. But I didn't do it the smart way, man. My recovery was crap. I was always sore. I was always dealing with tendonitis, man. I was a young man and I was beating my body down, dude. Beating my body down. And that's not the way you should train. The way you should train is smart, progressive overload. You don't need a host of exercises. You need a few exercises that are ultimately going to allow you to progress, number one, okay? Meaning allow you to get stronger. And man, I didn't put a huge emphasis on progression back then. Yeah, I wanted to get stronger, Yeah, I wanted to, get better at the exercises. But really what I wanted to do, and I apologize, I have terrible allergies, guys. What I wanted to do for real was train as hard as I possibly could. And that led to injuries. That led to a lot of injuries, unnecessarily. Finally learned my lesson years ago where I had just a string of bad injuries and it set me back quite a bit. And ever since then, I've trained really smart. It's what we teach our clients now. Smart training, okay? You don't need to spend hours in the gym. 45 minutes, 3 to 4 times a week is enough. It really is enough. Especially if you're training smart, especially if you have a really good program, everything laid out, it's systemized, you're progressing week after week, month after month. Man, it can be a game changer. What else that I wish I would have known? So I wish I would have known how important sleep is. I used to burn the candle at both ends back then. Now, once again, I was a young man in my early 20s. Now I'm almost 40. I'll be 40 in a few months. And, I used to burn the candle at both ends, meaning early mornings, 4:30 a.m., go to the gym, and I would stay up late. I would stay up till 11:30. I was getting 5 hours of sleep every night, and then the only way I was surviving was caffeine. That was it. Bombarding my body with caffeine. I was drinking energy drinks, Red Bulls, pre-workout, coffees, all around the clock to survive because I was sleep deprived. And there's no wonder that my appetite struggled. I was craving sugar. I was craving junk, and I was just white knuckling it. Willpower, okay? Once I discovered a couple things, number one, sleep, like what it actually feels like to consistently get good sleep, my appetite started to get more under control. I wasn't as anxious. I wasn't looking for constant fulfillment from food. And my body lost weight easier. My body wasn't under as much stress. So it was willing to part ways with body fat easier. It didn't feel like as much of a struggle. And I'm thankful, for the record, that I figured that out before I had kids because, man, kids, they disrupt your sleep schedule. And I had the experience of no sleep, so I was able to stick with my training through the stretch of having two boys in the span of 18 months, building a business, building clientele, all that stuff that takes away some of your sleep. But then I was able to get back into a good sleep routine. And to this day, I credit good sleep for most of my fitness success. Okay. The other thing I wish I would have known is that you don't need a lot of supplements. Are there cutting edge supplements that do work these days? Yes. They don't substitute the necessity. They don't take away the necessity for a rock solid system that matches your level of life. If you're a driven guy who's busy, runs a team, has a company, works in an organization that's high stress, high output, has a family, like, dude, listen, you need a different plan than the 22-year-old version of me who's able to train 2 or 3 times a day. That's not going to work for you. You need a plan built for you. Most guys are doing things backwards when it comes to training and nutrition because they're trying to follow routines that are built for these 23-year-old guys that have no responsibilities outside of eat, sleep, and train. So, back then, I wish I would have known, yes, supplements are helpful, but really, you don't need a whole lot. What you need is a system. You need a routine. You need consistency. I used to abuse supplements. I used to go to the GNC and offload my paycheck and buy hundreds and hundreds of dollars worth of supplements. I even worked at GNC part-time just so I could get supplements. Seriously. And boy, did I get a lot. I mean, I used to get free stuff constantly. I had closets and boxes full of supplements. I even was sponsored at one point by supplement companies. I mean, because they were just like, dude, like, we'll give you this crap. It doesn't work. Just let us use your pictures, Crazy. But that's the name of the game. You got to learn these lessons. So what supplements work? I would say creatine. It's a great supplement. Will always be a part of my regimen. Vitamins and minerals that I'm lacking in. So like vitamin D3, vitamin C, those things really good, important to keep inside your protocol to ensure that you don't have any shortcomings. What else? Protein powder could be a great one. These days there's more cutting edge stuff. So like peptides. We just released a peptide mastery guide. If you want a copy of that, just comment peptides on this video. Peptides are a game changer, assuming you got all the basics dialed in. If you got all the basics dialed in, you are going to absolutely see some major change in your ability to get in shape, fitness, fat loss, all that stuff with peptides. The other major supplementation that a lot of guys are on now is TRT, hormones. And if it's done for the right reasons, I absolutely support it. I think it's an amazing, amazing thing. It's not what everybody thinks it is. It's not turning into the Incredible Hulk. It's not going to do the work for you. It's absolutely a game changer if you're not fully optimized hormonally. Okay. We talk more about that in our resources community. I'm more than happy to point you in the right direction with peptides, with hormones, all that stuff. Okay. What else? What else did I learn? There's a lot of mental game stuff that I've learned. Number one is fitness is really just a metaphor for life. I think you're missing out. And looking back, I'm so happy I went through a lot of challenges with fitness because it taught me discipline. It taught me consistency. It taught me how to track data. It taught me how to be more detail oriented. It taught me to be patient, to trust the process. Talk about having to learn to trust the process. My goodness, man, fitness teaches you that. Because you're like, you think you're losing, the scale says you're losing fat, you look a little leaner, but you're like, is this really going to happen? Am I really going to get the body that I'm proud of if I stick with this? Like, is this actually possible? And the answer is yes. And if I would have just trusted the process, like not the bad process that I had a lot of bad process stuff. But once I found a really good coach, man, I questioned everything. I was like, I don't know, man. Like, this is so different. But if I had just trusted it and gone all in, I probably would have got to my goal at the time, which was 10% body fat, much faster than I did. My hope for you is that I save you some time. Now, I'll say this. You don't need to get to 10% body fat, okay? 10% is very, very lean. Most guys are going to see some ab definition somewhere between 12 and 15% body fat, okay? So no matter where you are right now, my encouragement to you is simply start doing the things that you can sustain for a long period of time. Go on daily walks. Train smart, but train for strength 3 to 4 times per week. Understand how many calories you're eating and how much protein you're eating. That is going to be your foundational roadmap. And then as you're like, okay, I need to get all this mapped out. I'm not sure how to put it all together. There's so much information out there. What do I do? I also need someone checking in with me. I want to have somebody who's in my corner, just like a fighter getting ready for a fight. I want a coach. I want a team. Listen, that's what we've built our company on. It's coaching, it's community, it's healthy competition, you versus you, and a host of other really, really important steps to allow you to do this whole fitness thing forever. All right. Because I truly believe, man, if you're a guy who wants to be the total package, meaning I handle business, financials, I'm great with my family, my wife, my kids are taken care of. I'm doing all the right things. But the one thing I keep promising myself I'm going to do is take care of my body. And I'm just not doing it. I keep promising I'm going to get in better shape and I'm not doing it. I keep promising I'm going to lose the same 20 pounds and I'm not doing it. Let us help you get past that. Okay. That is a massive piece because once you're physically fit, I promise you, every part of your life gets better. Every part. Your sexual game gets better. Your money game gets better. You're more respected. You have more energy. You're on top of things better. You're clearer. You're more disciplined. The relationship with your kids, your family, your friends, it just gets better, man. You're just a happier person. Like you're full of energy. You're full of positivity. So, hey, listen, you don't have to take my word for it. I mean, obviously, whether you ever invest in our program or not, I'm here to serve you. Take the word of the people we've helped. We've helped thousands of people. They're all over the internet. You can find our testimonials everywhere. But hey, in the meantime, just to take you to the next step, which I think will help you if you're on a mission this year, if this is the year you say enough is enough, I'm done not doing what I say I'm going to do. Comment Summer Shred. We'll get you the checklist. We'll get you in the resources area where I go live every single day. I give coaching, no charge. It's free. The hope is that you get results. And then when you're ready for more, you jump into our program. All right. Comment Summer Shred. If you want the peptide guide, it's in the same area. Comment peptide. I'll send it to you. And I appreciate you guys watching. All right. Life moves fast. Make it count. I'll talk to you on the next one. Peace.